Welcome, fillies and gentle colts. I'm Captain Thundertrot, and with me is Archie. And we're the Brony Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Brony Boys podcast. We coming at you, Archie and Captain Thunderthought. Friendship is magic. If you wondered what friendship could be, listen up and share the magic with BBP.
Join us as we trot through every single episode of the animated masterpiece, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. All 222 episodes across 9 seasons. Don't worry, we're no one-trick ponies here. We are 100% committed to reviewing every single episode of the show that began in 2010 and continues to attract otherwise well-adjusted straight males even to this day. But don't confuse us with those furry freaks. Bronies don't do any of that horseplay. So pony up and let's share our thoughts about all things My Little Pony. First, since this is our very first episode, let's introduce ourselves. Hi, Archie.
Hello, I'm Archie. Hello, Dave. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. So that's the introductions out of the way. So,
yeah.
Why exactly are we doing this again?
I don't know.
Okay.
You thought it was going to be such a great idea. It was, and I thought, why not? And I thought it would be fun. So it seems like good. It's going to be nice.
Excellent. So essentially, you are the expert, and I'm the person new to all this. So
more or less, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to basically, as I see this is going to be, you're going to be watching it through as I'm going to be watching it through for whatever time it's been.
Yes.
Again, and you're going to have questions for me, and I'm going to probably ask you a couple things too of your thoughts since it's your first time seeing it through.
Excellent. So how about the obvious question? What is My Little Pony? If someone's never heard of My Little Pony, how would you answer that question?
How I would basically explain to them, it's a children's show that is more or less marketed towards little girls. But it's a great show that basically has talking ponies, different races in it. I usually go through the different races that there are. And I just say why I like the show, more or less. But exactly what the show is, it goes through, has lessons, does this thing. And I'm explaining this really badly. But
No.
It's just a show that's created by Lauren Faust that's about talking ponies, more or less. Learning about the magic of friendship.
Yes. So you're talking about so that's the show. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. But prior to the show starting, there were how many? 3 generations or something like that, depending on how you count the generations of My Little Pony. Yep.
Yeah, there's apparently one generation that nobody talks about. It doesn't exist.
Okay. My Little Pony lore. Yep.
Yeah, there's one generation that basically it just nobody likes it just because how it turned out, so they pretend it doesn't exist.
Yes. So the reason why we're doing Friendship is Magic is because, from my point of view, it's the best My Little Pony cartoon by far, right?
Uh-huh.
By far.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's the one that attracted, made the entire fandom of Bronies.
Yes. Yes, exactly right. So My Little Ponies, you're saying they're talking ponies. We'll get into a bit more detail about them, but do you want to just throw out a few names of some of the famous My Little Ponies?
So you got the big main 6, which is main character who you follow throughout, like the first episode, then throughout the entire season. These are the main ones. You got Twilight Sparkle. Then you meet Pinkie Pie. You got Rainbow Dash, Rarity, Fluttershy, and Applejack. Those are the main ones. You also got the Cutie Mark Crusaders, which you'll meet in a later season.
Oh,
they
can't wait.
show up in a couple of episodes.
Sorry, that was
Bloom's.
the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
They're going to be part of a lot of it. They're like the fillies, the little ones. It's Apple Bloom, Scootaloo, and Sweetie Belle. They're the big secondary characters, and there's a bunch of background characters. I don't know if you want me to go into that as well. Some famous background character names.
So they go on crusades, so are they like Christian My Little Ponies, and they go on crusades after Muslim My Little Ponies, or not
No.
that type of crusaders?
Not that type of crusading. They try to basically find the cutie mark, what they're supposed to be. That's their big thing.
Okay. So I guess we'll get into that a bit when we talk about the episode, but there's no actual sort of religion in My Little Pony universe, but there is the whole, like, the backstory that's talked about at the very start of episode 1. I guess that's sort of the closest thing to a belief system or religion or whatever.
Yeah, that's the closest thing. I wouldn't say there's really a religion, but you know, the closest thing, as you said.
But maybe there's some bronies that have elevated their worship of My Little Ponies to like a religion.
It is possible. Yeah, I've seen some things that are absolutely insane.
So that leads nicely to the next question, which is, what is a brony?
Brony just technically is a fan of My Little Pony. A male fan of My Little Pony. Is what basically a brony is. And
any age, like a boy or a man or an old man, just a male fan is called a brony now.
More or less. It's normally in ages like high school and older. Is normally what a brony is, possibly middle school. But it's normally somebody that, it's not targeted towards like, oh my goodness, some like older guy likes, My Little Pony. That's basically what a brony is. If you look at them and they're like, oh, they're too old to be liking this.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I guess that gets into the next question and some of the brony documentaries that are around. Whether they those kind of documentaries, whether the bronies that they show in those documentaries are indicative of the general fandom, or they just find the most extreme elements, or most hardcore elements.
I'll tell you what, the fandom, they think the one off of Netflix, the one, I don't know if you've watched that one yet, but the one, like, I don't remember what it's exactly called, but the bronies one from Netflix, the big one, they actually don't like that one as much as the one that was made on YouTube by, I'd have to remember his name again, I have to look that up, but by them, the 2-part series, the one I sent you, specifically, that one, they like it a lot more because they believe that shows the fandom as a whole a lot better than the one on Netflix does.
Okay, yes, all right. Yep.
That's just the overall fandom stand on it.
So I probably should
at least what I've heard.
I probably should watch the Netflix one first. And then watch the more reasonable one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So which leads to you, do you think you're a more extreme element brony or a more moderate or mild level fan brony?
Well, at the very beginning, I was very over the top with it. I would say for about like a year and a half, I was super like over the top with it. Now it's kind of died down a bit. There's some in like the more recent last 2 seasons, there's some episodes that I haven't seen. So going back into it, I'm going to be watching it again.
Yep.
But one of the main things I'm into is like the art. I love the art of it now. So I'm more of like a moderate one now. I'm not as big as I was back a couple of years ago.
So you wouldn't make it to the Netflix documentary if they made a sequel of it anymore?
Probably not now, no. Maybe before, but not now.
Yeah. So a question that I think a lot of people wonder is it like a joke? Like, is there some irony or like that? Like, how did it all come about? Was it just purely because the cartoon was good and appealed to a more wider audience, and then moved on from there, or is there some rebellious element to it? Because it's rebellious element in terms of liking something that is not is not marketed towards you. I guess there's a lot in that question.
I don't really know, but I don't know if you want me to go into exactly how I found My Little Pony. But
absolutely.
I don't know what exact. Okay, so what exactly found it? I remember the exact video where I decided to be like, sure, why not? I was watching a. It was from the channel Top Tats Videos, and I was watching some top whatever creepypastas of it, and I found one of the creepypastas, which is basically like scary stories on the internet about one of the characters called Cupcakes, and it's about how basically Pinkie Pie, basically her ingredients in the cupcakes that she's making,
yes,
is basically pieces of ponies.
Okay.
She's also, it's a story, but that's the funnily enough what made me into the fandom. The first thing I watched was wasn't even an episode of the show. It was a animation from the fandom, and I thought that was really good. So I decided one day to go watch the one of the episodes. I don't remember which one it was, but I don't know. I just kept watching it. I just found it entertaining, and before I knew it, I decided, well, damn, I guess I'm a brony.
Yeah, I mean, do you think, what's her name, Lauren Faust, do you think she was thinking about maybe making it not just purely for young girls, but...
I believe she was trying to make it where, the family could watch it. I don't remember. I think she said something about that. I would have to go back and check on it, but that she wanted to make it where, like, an entire family can find it entertaining, not just little girls, but, I believe it's also one of her dreams to make the show like this, because she said she used to play, with the old My Little Pony dolls, stuff like that. So, it was...
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's basically how the story goes. That she had My Little Pony dolls when she was growing up, and she made her own stories that seemed to be way better than the first. Well, the whole bunch of different earlier My Little Pony animated series. And she more or less turned her childhood stories into what became Friendship is Magic. So I guess it's kind of like it is a bit like a fan fiction, isn't it?
Almost like the entire series is just a giant fan fiction.
Yeah, that is better than the original.
Yeah.
So, well done.
Yes. She did good.
Yeah. So, at your extreme level of fandom, were you going around doing any of the voices of any of the My Little Ponies, or you...
No. I wasn't doing any of that. I was like super into it. I would make my own stories about it. I would read fan fiction, do like basically everything I could to be part of it.
Yes.
It was absolutely crazy. I have a bunch of stuff from when I was like that, like a bunch of like statues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a bit crazy how much stuff came from that.
I mean, but in terms of an obsession or a addiction kind of thing, there's much worse things that you can get into, like some of the people that we interact with on the on the Who's Right Extended Universe Discord.
Oh yeah,
They've
we could get it.
been to far darker places than getting into My Little Pony, you know.
I guess this is like the light of the extended universe right here.
I think that might be right. It's so yeah, but anything like even my Little Pony, or if you into anything too much that it's taking away from you. Like, did it get to a point that it was like affecting your schoolwork, or affecting friendships or anything like that?
It never went that far. No, it never went. It actually affected like schoolwork and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It may have affected friendships just a bit, where I wouldn't want to do anything. But it didn't go as far as to ruin everything. But yeah, it didn't ruin, because around that time, before that I kind of messed up school. But after after that point in my life, I was kind of purely focused on making sure my school work was pretty nice, so it didn't mess with my school and friends at all, really.
So there was never an intervention like you see on the shows with heavier things than My Little Pony, and you never had to do a 12-step program.
No. There was one point though where my stepmother took away everything.
Sorry, say again.
That's a whole.
There
was one stepmother.
Okay.
One point where she basically took everything away, but that's a whole different story to get into.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
So we'll just leave that one dangling, and then
we can make people wait for that story.
Oh yeah. You're not getting that in episode 1. We got some questions from Twitter.
Okay.
Which I tweeted, I'm podcasting with a Brony. Have you got any questions? That's all I said. And yep, in they came. And not all complimentary, as you'd probably expect.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you've heard them all at this point.
Oh yeah, not like, trust me, none of them really bother me.
No.
Like, they've all tried, and I'm like, is that really all you get? Okay. Because they all basically say the same thing, so.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, yeah, and consider like the questions from some of the people we know, like considering some of the things they've done in their lives,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Jacob, who is our Who's Right Extended Universe network boss.
The boss.
The boss.
The captain.
The boss of the network. He asked, do you think it is borderline bestiality to be sexually attracted to anthropomorphic animals?
Anthropomorphic animals, that's like human-like features. I don't know. It's still more human-like than animal. But if it's an actual animal, like,
Actually, that's a good question. I mean, Jacob's question isn't good, but the
good job, Jacob.
anthropomorphic thing, like, to be more anthropomorphic, the ponies would be walking on 2 legs and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's like the movies they have where they're in high school, but that's like, that's a very, in the fandom, those movies are very liked and super.
Yes.
Both sides hate it and love it. So.
Yes. Yeah. No, you basically yes. Yeah. So My Little Pony fans try to ignore certain things that have been official My Little Pony.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, maybe they took some detours from the classic what the ponies look like and what they're supposed to do. But in terms of the sexual attraction, the questions we've got coming up as well. I mean, I think there's a lot of the confusing bronies and furries.
Yeah. Right? Yes, they're very, very different. like not like super far apart, so people call it like almost like a subsection of furries, but you wouldn't. They're not as, I would say, crazy sometimes. I don't really know how to put it because it's not like, furries are super crazy, but like the big difference between the two is like the ponies aren't really anthropomorphic. They're just ponies that are like unicorns, pegasi stuff, and furries are into anthropomorphic characters.
Yes, walking on two legs. Yes, and yep,
all that stuff. It's
and putting holes in certain places so they can do certain things. Yeah.
That's the big difference between the two. But
so we'll keep going with the questions and tease out some more Brony versus furry stuff. Jody B, who's the guy that for some reason keeps showing up on my Who's Right podcast recaps. 2 weeks in a row now he showed up. So see if he just randomly shows up next week.
I have a possibility he might.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Mixed reviews, but anyway. His question was, how many cats are in your freezer? So I don't know. He's wondering if you're a crazy cat lady, I suppose.
That ain't me. I'm not a crazy cat lady. That's my that's another family member of mine. Sadly, you got the wrong person. I'm sorry.
You got the wrong guy. Yeah, it's because it's that Animal Hoarders show. There's where they find the 30 cats around the place, around the houses. Yeah. Yes, that's considered to be a certain severe mental illness that has got nothing to do with being a fan of My Little Pony.
No, I don't know. Maybe some other fandoms, but I don't know about this.
Maybe.
One.
I mean, there is the overall thing of like hoarding. Like, I mean, that's one of the things that fandom and fandom tries to engage that aspect of our psychology is, the whole collect them all kind of shit. Is somewhat similar to filling your house full of junk. So there's that. Like you could fill your house full of My Little Ponies.
I do have a bunch of statues.
Yes,
I will say that. That's the fandom. Like you said, fandoms do that. I also have some other statues from some other series that aren't My Little Pony.
Yeah. So
I just have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, so you don't have a room in your house dedicated to My Little Ponies. No. But there certainly are fans that do.
Yes, there's some fans that have a lot of stuff. Like I could show you some things, some pictures that you would be like, goodness gracious.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it's no different. No, not really any different to like wrestling figurine fans or Star Wars fans or
That is true. Some you could look at some fans and just be like, wow, you have a room full of that. But it's just they love their stuff.
Have you seen the documentary Trekkies?
No, I should probably watch that sometime. It seems
in terms of like fandom documentaries, that's a big one.
I need to watch that. I wonder how they feel about that in their fandom. Kind of how like Bronies feel about the Brony documentary. If they feel like it misrepresents them at all. Yeah.
So this this is a bit of a tangent, but whatever. We're talking about fandom in general. The Trekkies documentary was made by what's her name? Have I got her name right? Denise Crosby? No, that's not her name. Oh, fuck, I can't remember her name. Anyway, the woman that played Tasha Yar on Star Trek Next Generation. So the person that made the documentary was in Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh, okay.
So it's not an outside. Well, it's an outsider to the fandom, but it's very much an insider to the the Star Trek. What are they called? Conventions. Yeah. So she,
I guess so. Was it like a complete outsider? She still had, some insight a little bit.
Yes, she's not a Trekkie, but she was in Star Trek Next Generation and does conventions. So, yeah. But yes, but even she did. Some of the people on the show are, different. Let's say.
Yeah. Have they done a furry documentary yet? They probably have somewhere. I don't know if have they been an official one yet.
Yeah, there goddamn needs to be. Like, it's why isn't there one? Seriously,
that is.
Someone's got to make it.
Yes. All right, that's your job.
No.
Make a furry documentary.
No.
All right, let's get to the next question.
No. Someone do it, and I'll enjoy. Yes. I'll definitely enjoy watching it. Next question is from Delvin Cox, aka the backup black guy for the Who's Right extended universe, aka the Todd Whisperer.
Got it.
He asked a good He's got a good question. Has being a fan of the show ever affected your love life?
I haven't seen it affecting anything of my love life yet. I don't know if it may in the future. I've had girlfriends before. They never seemed to give it any mind.
Yeah, I mean, whether this is partly a generational thing as well.
That is true. That might just be like, oh yeah, they're just a big fan of that. No, so far it hasn't messed with my love life, but I don't know if it could in the future possibly. For all I know, so we will make sure to get back to you if that ever does happen. I will make sure to let you know.
Yes, if you meet a girl and she finds out that you have My Little Pony statues and she totally freaks out.
That'll be a good story.
Perhaps if she totally freaks out, then she's not the person for you. But anyway.
Yeah. It would still be a funny story to tell.
Yes, of course. Oh, yes. Yes. And we'll skip the next question because I don't care for it. This is a positive podcast. God damn it.
God damn
it. Next question. PJ Philium asks, which pony... Well, again, this is better than the last question, but still.
Yeah.
Which pony do you bust the biggest nut to, and how ashamed are your parents of you?
My parents don't care at all, especially considering my other sibling.
Oh, yes.
That's a whole other thing we get into one day.
It's a whole other thing. Yes.
But yeah, for the other part of the question, I have no idea. That is something that I will have to get into the back because when I was more super big into fandom, that is something we'll have to talk about one day. Because that was a interesting time of my life, I should say.
Excellent. No, you're doing a great job at teasing future episodes. I guess that means we're going to have to make them, I suppose. Cool.
Yes. You're now forced into this, Dave. You have no other option.
Yes. I'm in a prison of my own making.
I'm just saying, you're the one who came to me. Like they said, why did we do this? Well, Dave came to me one day. He's like, we should make a podcast. And I'm like, oh. At first, I thought it was a joke. And then he's like, all right, when are we doing this? And I'm like, okay.
Exactly.
So it's fine. It's all good.
I'm a fan of coming up with ideas like this and going, that's hilarious. Well, but why? Okay, let's do it. Why not? Why not do it?
Let's just do it. We got like 200 something. You said 229, right?
Yep. Something like that.
Let's go.
Just to double check it. Oh, it's 222 was what Wikipedia said, but maybe that there's unless there's other specials or I don't know. But yes,
yeah, there's some things, but it'll be all right. We can worry about that later.
That would be almost 5 years of podcasting every week. So, yep, cool.
Good job.
El Chivo podcast asks, did Space Jam influence you in any way to be attracted to cartoons in a sexual manner?
No, because I watched that after I got into My Little Pony, actually, because I've never seen Space Jam, and then my family's like, "What?" So we watched it.
Yes. So I think this
this
is an okay boomer question, because I think the Space Jam. I can't remember exactly what year, but yes, it's now quite an old movie.
Aren't they making another one?
Oh, I hope so.
I thought they were.
I don't know. They're not going to be making it with. Oh no.
Oh no, Kobe.
No, they're not going to be making it with Kobe. But
but
they can still make it with Bugs Bunny. He never dies.
Yeah, he never dies.
Next question.
Oh, it was supposed to be with LeBron James.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, keep going. Next question.
Yeah. Next question is from Uncle Randy. Talking about characters. So, Uncle Randy didn't ask a question. He just said, Uncle Randy is also a brony, goddamn.
Oh, really?
Do you really think Uncle Randy's a brony?
I don't know. I would need proof. Uncle Randy, give me proof.
Yes, exactly. That's excellent. Uncle Randy, if you're listening to this, and I know you are, we need proof. We need photos.
To quote a very, very, very good Duck Facts, give me the receipts.
Yes. And yeah, next, not even question, statement is from Remix Thorn, who said, awesomeness, I'm a brony too. Now, in his case, I know he's a fan of a lot of things, so he probably is actually a brony.
The way he said it too, I would believe so.
Yes. So bronies just come together. We're going to herd up as many bronies as we can to listen to this show, right?
As they would say in the early parts of the fandom, join the herd.
Mm-hmm.
They made a whole song about it. There's a lot into it.
Cool. Next one is from Movie Goat Podcast. Damn, so much hate from Twitter. I mean, I don't know if it was hate. I mean, it's just people being,
It's
just the usual.
Yeah, just people being people.
What famous pony should play Twilight Sparkle in a live-action movie of My Little Pony?
I have no fucking clue.
But that's a real question. So thank you.
It's a real question. I have no idea. Are you watching just one episode? Oh shit! Are you watching just one episode? Do you have anybody in mind? I would have no idea. Oh God.
I'll say, what's her name? Meghan Markle, Prince Harry's wife.
Yeah. Sure, let's go with that. I would have no idea, actually.
My thought process behind that was who has been in the news recently? Yep, that'll do.
Yes. All right, now.
She is an actor, so she could do it.
She could do it. Let's just go for it. Why not? She's going to be the next big thing.
Yeah, and then the last question was, who hurt you, from Larianda Grande?
Nobody hurt me, my friend.
So you don't feel that you're becoming a fan of My Little Pony came out of a place of great pain. It was more a positive thing.
It was more of literally I just happened to find it. And I was like, sure, I'll try this. And then I ended up playing it. So I guess it's more of a positive thing. More of, curiosity kills the cat. So here I am.
Excellent.
All right. And I guess that's all the questions, right?
Yeah. So I think now we'll get into the episode. So
the first episode, the first part of the first episode.
Yeah. What did I say? What did I say in the outline? Let's not put the cart before the pony. let's talk about the first episode of My Little Pony called Friendship is Magic.
Oh God, I love I love those.
Yeah, so it's a two-parter, but we're just going to talk about part one. So I think there's plenty just in part one.
There's a lot in part one. At least a lot of introductions.
And the description of part one was, after attempting to warn Princess Celestia about the return of wicked Nightmare Moon, Twilight, Sparkle, and Spike travel to Ponyville.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love my favorite notes. I'm just gonna say from this is what is Spike?
Well, yep. I think I used an expletive on that one too.
Yeah, you also said it, I think, 2 other times.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let's start this. I'm excited.
Yeah, so it starts with, for a children's cartoon, a lot of backstory exposition.
Yes, I'm just gonna say a lot of exposition for the two-parter.
Yes. So I'm a middle-aged gentleman. I'm not great at following that kind of a presentation, because I'd rather, it's the show don't tell kind of principle.
Mm-hmm.
And once the show gets into it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess what's her name, Lauren, felt that there was just necessary backstory that had to go at the very top.
They apparently had to know what happened. Even they do, I would say later in the series, they do show it in animation. Exactly how a certain part of that went down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, going back to the first episode, I could see that they throughout the series improved the animation a lot.
Have improved.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does start off very watchable compared to other kids cartoons.
Yes, it is. I would say one of the like you said, nicer, presentable, more good art.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've written here in notes. I just wanted to see the ponies. But the other way to do it is, you see the ponies from the very start, and then you can intercut with the backstory. That would be the other way to do it. But I don't know. You just get that stuff out of the way, and then get on with the solid ponies. I suppose.
When it comes to, let me say something about the theme tune. There was a big meme that all the Bronies just hated the theme tune, the theme song to My Little Pony, and they just skipped the song. So it was a big thing, and it's still a joke to now that they just hate the intro song. It's a big meme.
I mean, I heard it. I'd heard people sing it and whatever, but I don't know if I'd actually, listen to it. It's pretty much the kind of thing you'd expect for this kind of a cartoon.
Yeah, you're gonna hear a lot of singing.
Yeah, but the theme tune works fine.
It's fine. It's not bad. It's just a big meme within the community. I mean,
any theme tune that you have to listen to over and over and over again. I mean, although with Netflix you just hit skip intro, so you don't even have to anymore.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about the animation being better than I thought it would be, and better than a lot of other. I mean, I grew up with He-Man and Transformers, and if you look at that stuff now,
He-Man, that was a show.
Yeah, but if you look at how good the animation was back then, it's absolute rubbish.
I used to only be able to see those sometimes when I was younger, and that was. it was decent for its time, but compared to now, it's oof.
It was also before. I think that Japanese animation influenced American stuff, and greatly improved it as well.
If you want me to throw something off of that, the Japanese anime, Japanese animation, One thing they do with their intro songs is they change every season, which is pretty cool.
Sorry, the Japanese anime.
Yeah, anime. They change their theme song every season.
Oh. Whereas your American cartoons will keep it the same.
Yep.
The whole show, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the more standard way to do it. It's the same as TV shows, like, me being
The Office.
Yeah, The Office, or me being a big fan of The Sopranos. Like, yeah, you get so sick of even skipping it, but listening to a few seconds at the start and end or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like, I understand.
You get so tired of the theme tune.
But
yeah, so I made a comment whether it was a Seinfeld reference saying we're on a break. There are references. There's not a huge amount of references that only adults would get, but they are in the cartoon here and there, right? Maybe not.
You'll see it a lot more
episode 1, but in the future, yeah.
Yeah, you'll see it a lot more.
I mean, and that certainly is an indication that they're trying to maybe not appeal. Oh well, yeah. If adults happen to watch as well, then they'll get some enjoyment out of those references.
Mm-hmm. There's some episodes that I can't wait till we get to. You'll just look at and be like, they're just talking about the fandom. You'll see the episodes and you'll know which ones it is, especially the 100th episode. That was that's an interesting episode. But anyways,
and we'll get there in 2 years' time if we manage to keep up a weekly schedule.
Yes. But okay, when we start out the actual episodes after the theme song, we go upon the main character reading a book on a field.
Yes.
All that good stuff. And you see her, she basically runs into some people not people, but ponies, unicorns. I think they're all unicorns.
Yes.
Because she's in the gifted, she's in a school, basically. She's in the gifted school of unicorns, but you learn that later.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that is one thing to note. There's, I think what you mentioned before, the different races, is it?
Oh, yes.
Ponies versus unicorns versus Pegasuses, or what? How does all that? No,
they all live together. There's unicorns, which they have magic. There's earth ponies. They're basically the grunt work. They farm. That's literally their thing. They kind of farm.
Okay. So they're like the hobbits of the My Little Pony universe.
More or less.
There's
the Pegasi, which they control the weather and can step on clouds. They also have later in the series like a rainbow factory where they make weather. Rainbows and stuff. They're the ones who control the weather and all that good stuff, which is interesting to have it. Then there's the Alicorn sisters, which we'll get into that. But Alicorns are unicorn, Pegasi, and Earth Pony, basically put all together. They're the rulers. They have wings and a horn. So.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Celestia.
Okay. Yep. So there's a lot to it. So I mean, there's certainly way more to the first generation of cartoons that were so much more, far more simplistic than that.
There's they set the world build a lot more in the later series.
Yeah. So my next question is, what the F is Spike?
Spike is he's a baby dragon.
So is he the only dragon in the show, in the universe?
No.
Right.
You'll see more dragons, and then you'll get more confused. I'll just let you know that now. You'll look and be like, so that's an adult dragon, and that's a baby dragon. So how does one end up here and not there? And then other things happen where you're just like, wait a minute. Spike's a confusing mess sometimes. Especially if you want to try to look at lore and canon. But eventually they flesh him out in later seasons.
But certainly in episode 1, Spike is the only dragon, and
they at the moment, there's another dragon in season 1. But I don't know if you remember, Fluttershy actually said that he was a baby dragon. I don't know if you remember that, but she does. But okay, Twilight runs into people that she knows. There's a party that was going on for, I don't remember the pony's name, but there's a party going on for that. She said she doesn't have time. She goes up to the castle. You meet Spike,
Yes.
They're there. She's like, we have an urgent thing we have to do. She talks about Nightmare Moon for a bit. She says she has to send a letter to Celestia. Then the letter comes back because she's like, oh my gosh, she knew it was supposed to be super urgent. And it cuts there to black. Then it cuts into her flying on a chariot with two Pegasi guards, where basically they say that it was a old pony's tail, blah blah blah.
Yes.
And that she's going to go look over the sunset celebration over in Ponyville.
Yeah,
and
so
make friends.
Old pony's tale instead of an old wives' tale. So there's a whole question of whether that myth is real or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twilight believes it's real, but everybody else says, "Oh, it's just some fake thing. It's just a myth."
Yes.
And later you actually know that it's real. But
yes. You've already said that. Yeah, so there is magic in the My Little Pony universe. Some ponies can do magic or perform magic, others can't.
Mm-hmm. The only ones that can perform magic is alicorns and unicorns. How powerful this magic is I don't know if you were listening to it a bunch. Celestia moves the sun and the moon. She controls that. Later, her sister comes in, and she just controls the moon.
Yes.
And her sister can go into, you'll learn this later about her, but she can go into Pony's dreams and basically change what's going on there. She's supposed to help people if they're having nightmares or something like that.
Okay. Huh.
That's why she's my favorite. I will throw that out there for people who don't know that Luna is my favorite.
Yes. And there's no humans in the universe?
Not in Equestria.
Right.
But season 3, I think? 4? Right. Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
There's the Equestrian Girls movie where Twilight goes to basically another alternate universe where the ponies are humans in high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. But back to the episode. She lands. She's there. She beats the first of the main cast, which is Pinkie Pie. She doesn't say anything. She does a huge gasp.
Yeah,
I know you put it there later that you can't stand her voice.
Yeah. No, I missed the because Pinkie Pie came and went, so I missed it when I was making the notes. It's like,
she literally she gasps and disappears. That's how you first meet somebody. At least Pinkie Pie. Then you go meet Applejack.
Which
she's at her farm.
Yes. So
I'm trying to see what you...
So what I said in my notes is Applejack doesn't fit in the universe. Are there any other characters like her?
There's a family.
Okay.
And then later there's some other farmers that you learn about. But she is... They like to call her the background pony of the main 6.
Yeah, right.
She's just kind of there sometimes. But all that family you meet is going to be irrelevant except for the big main, the ones like she said last, like Apple Bloom, Big Mac, and Granny Smith. Those are the ones that stick around. The only reason I believe the rest of her family's there is because they're helping set up for the celebration, but they don't show up till later after that. They just disappear.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I said the run when they do a series of apple-based foods, and then it leads into Granny Smith the pony, not the apple.
Yeah, the old. She's old.
Yes.
She's Granny Smith. She gives Twilight a Granny Smith apple.
Yeah. So yes. Another question I had was, are there Bratz dolls similar thing for My Little Pony? So are there sort of more goth emo style ponies?
Later you see one like that, but that's not till like season 7, 8, somewhere around there. Yeah, so a lot later. There might be some in the background that you might see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I was going to say about Applejack. I don't think that's really it for her. She's a big favorite of some, but she's not one of the big main 6. Did you meet the others, which are really big? Pinkie Pie was also one of the big ones, but the others have huge people behind them. You meet good old Rainbow Dash, the cocky one, the tomboy. You know, they have to get the cliches of all the different types of girls. She's the one. The one thing about it though is she can back up her cockiness.
So she, I think you said that before. She's a Pegasus.
She's a Pegasus.
She says that in the episode, I think, and she does something, gives
a
Twilight a rain blow dry. I think when I was watching it, I asked my wife if she wanted a rain blow dry, and she didn't care for that question at all.
But I guess not. She would be like, "What the? She'd be like, the hell are you asking me?"
Yep, pretty much. And in that conversation, they mentioned the Wonderbolts as being the greatest flyers, or something like that.
They're like, oh god, you know those air shows that are like the jets and stuff like that? Those type of air shows?
Yes, yeah, of course.
They're like that, but with Pegasi. And they're also apparently like the really good, they're also part of like the military, so they're like a special, like a fucking, why can't I think of the word? But they're like one of the elite, in the military service, so they like show off in shows and stuff like that. But since they really have no need for a military, they just gotta have one.
Going to be my next question. What are the the orcs or the Klingons or who are the great enemies?
There really isn't great enemies. They just kind of show up. That's how it really happens.
Right.
They're just there, and then everybody else is just kind of, besides like the main characters, everybody else is just kind of useless. They don't really do much.
Yes. So next one?
So we got Rarity, which is another unicorn. She's like the proper one. As you also said, she has like a British accent, a posh accent. She's like high society. She makes dresses, big in the fashion. She basically sees Twilight's hair all messed up because Rainbow Dash basically rammed her into the mud and then got a rain cloud and drowned her in rain, and then rain blow dried her with like a mini tornado type thing. She just freaks out about that. Spike becomes infatuated with Rarity, likes her. That becomes a big thing for a while in the series.
Right. So you're saying so Rarity's got like a posh British accent, and then Applejack has a Southern US accent.
Yep.
Very, very, stereotypical, strong Southern US accent.
Yes.
Are there any other accents? There's no Australian My Little Pony, or?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. No, probably not. There might be some accents when you go to different places of Equestria later on, like Manhattan. There might be an accent of some.
Sorry, what was that? Manhattan?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. So that's instead of Manhattan, yes, and then they talked about Canterlot instead of Camelot. So everything's got to be somehow related to ponies.
Yep, they always do it. I'm trying to think of the other one. Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yeah.
But
and that's the other thing to note is that ponies aren't horses.
No. They're just like I said, the unicorns, and then instead of being like ponies, the earth ponies, and then Pegasuses.
So there's no horses in the My Little Pony universe.
Later in the series, they bring a horse.
Okay,
it's a thing that exists. He shows up for an episode, that comes back for another one. He just kind of, you'll see him. He comes in I think 5th season, 6th season, somewhere around there. You'll have to watch the episode. But yeah, Flutter, she goes through when Rarity she brings her back to her boutique, gives her a bunch of styles, dresses, and then when Twilight's finally, because she's going insane talking to all these different people who are supposed to be making things perfect for this celebration. She gets away from Rarity because she doesn't, as she puts it, she doesn't wait until she doesn't want her to dye her fur mane or something like that, if I'm remembering that correctly. She says something like that. She gets away. She hears some singing, some birds singing. Then she goes and finds Fluttershy, which is, for a long time, she was my favorite.
Sorry, just before you get into that, I didn't write a note saying beware of anyone that latches onto you and says, within a very short period of time that they're your best friend.
Oh yes,
That's not how best friends work.
No, that's not how it works. But it apparently works in that universe. It's fine. Talk to people. But if somebody just says, "Yeah, you're my best friend," you're like, "Are you being funny here? Are you just okay?" That's a ton of people that you just gotta kind of slowly walk away from.
So I wrote Fluttershy. What's her deal? Is she one of the shy ponies who's a freak in the hay? Yeah, all right.
Some would like to think so.
Actually, I do have a story about that. Because I have put a few My Little Pony clips in some of my old episodes of my other podcast. And I asked my wife's friend, and then she asked her kids, who more grown up kids, and not too little, who the most, how do I put it, the most promiscuous pony might be, and I'm pretty sure they came back with Fluttershy. So. I think she. So my wife's friend asked her, 16, 17-year-old daughter. So
I don't know.
Just the kind of weird questions that I have to pick clips for my other show.
It's all right. I don't know. Some people would like to think she is. I don't know. I would feel like maybe Rarity or Rainbow would be. Personally, I feel like just how Fluttershy's character is at that part of the series. No, maybe later when she becomes more out of her shyness as she was.
Yeah.
But at that moment of the series, she couldn't, as you noticed, even speak to Twilight normally. She was very quiet.
Very shy. Yeah. So she's got to come out of her shell somewhat.
And then if you notice, becomes counterintuitive later. But we'll get into that when that comes up. Absolutely.
Again, I asked what the F is Spike, but yeah.
What the fuck is Spike? Yeah. She literally says, "Oh, a baby dragon."
Yep.
One thing that I wonder is he follows them all the way back. She questions Spike about everything. He basically tells her his life story, and follows them back to the library that Twilight was staying at. And she basically uses him as an excuse to get Fluttershy away. And then all of a sudden, she goes in. It's dark. Then the lights switch on, and they say, "Surprise! It's a party." And that's when you meet your favorite character, Pinkie Pie.
Who I've written Stinky Pie. Yep.
Yep, he's the one he struggles with the most.
Yep.
Oh, good old Pinkie Pie. You'll get used to her voice. It'll be
Will
fine.
I?
Yes. After hearing it for a while, you'll get used to it. If not, it's going to be a long show for you.
Yep.
Because there's some episodes that are focused on her, so be prepared.
Oh, great.
Yep, and then it goes and somehow Fluttershy's in there with the rest of them. Fluttershy's at a party with the rest of them, which is counterintuitive of a character, but they had to get everybody in one place.
Yes.
Then somehow, out of just not looking, Twilight drinks like hot sauce. Mm-hmm. She pours it into like a champagne glass and drinks hot sauce. And then, Pinkie being Pinkie, put hot sauce on a cupcake, ate a cupcake.
Yes.
Yeah, people looked at her weird. Twilight goes upstairs, calls basically all the ponies crazy, says she needs to figure out what's going on with the mare on the moon. And then you get a shot of the moon with, the outline of a mare on it, just like the top half, like the face. Mm-hmm. Then Spike comes in. He says, "Hey, we're all going down to the part of the celebration where they celebrate basically the banishing of Nightmare Moon for the 1000th time." Then they basically do the things for it. They say, "Oh, here's Celestia. She doesn't show up." Everybody's like, "What? She's not here." They freak out for a second. Nightmare Moon shows up, does her evil thing, says the night's going to last forever. They ask who she, asks, do they know who she is? And then Twilight says she knows. She says her name. And then basically one of the more famous quotes from the series where she said the night will last forever. Then she lasts for a while. That's one that's used a lot, especially in mods and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so I've written in my notes, Nightmare Moon is Bowser and Celestia is Princess Peach. With my question.
Night will last forever. Vampire My Little Ponies. Yeah. Speaking of that, later in the series, you will see the guards for Celestia's sister Luna are almost like vampire ponies.
Okay.
Because they have bat wings instead of normal Pegasi wings, and they have fangs.
Huh. They
never explain how or why.
Okay.
They just exist.
Yeah, because if they made 222 episodes, then I imagine they do all sorts of different stuff to try and keep it somewhat interesting.
Yeah, it gets fun.
Yeah, and then that's the end of part one.
That episode. Yeah, they basically end on a cliffhanger of like, oh yeah, the night's gonna last forever. Oh shoot, what are we going to do? Nightmare Moon basically just screwed everything over. The world's going to burn. They actually, there's a bunch of songs as well. If we want to go into a little bit about this, just the two sisters and about that moment before she became Nightmare Moon. There's a pretty famous songs in the fandom. There's one called "The Moon Rises," I believe.
Right.
And it's done by the perspective of her sister Luna before she turned into Nightmare Moon. Spoilers. If you haven't known.
Yeah,
It's over. It's fine, guys. It's been out for 9 years.
It's been out for a long time, so yeah.
Yeah. But basically it's about how she felt about it. It's a good song. I would say that. There's also the more famous song. Oh God, I'm not gonna remember the name right, but it's about Celestia and after she banished her. And it's about a 6-minute song, but it's about Celestia going on about what happened and how she feels bad and she hopes her, sister will be fine on the moon. It's a good song. I would have to find it again. re-listen to it. But I find it to be a very good song. There's a bunch of songs in the fandom if you ever want to one day just go over just a bunch of the stuff the fandom's made.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we can add some links in the show notes. Or...
if we want to.
Yep.
But yeah.
Serious stuff. So
yes.
Need extensive show note, or maybe not extensive, but a couple of links. Why not?
Yeah. Let's just throw in all the links, why not? Make it confusing. Just throw them all like one long.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So,
anything else?
I think that's pretty good. I think we've done the basics and talked about episode 1. So I think we'll just keep going. Maybe on a weekly schedule, maybe not. We'll see how we go.
Hopefully, we'll see how this works. I'm hoping so.
This is in stark contrast to a lot of podcasts that start and are gung-ho every week, and then they never, never even make it to episode 10. So
we will hope. We're like, how we're doing this is we'll see what happens. We'll try our best to make it through at least the first season, and then we'll see if we can make it through all of them.
Yeah, I think that's a fair commitment.
Let's see if you don't lose your sanity by the end of season 1 because of a certain character.
If I start buying statues and merchandising and whatnot, then yep.
You've already gone too far, man. You might already say, all right, why don't we start doing this every day? Because it'll hit you.
Well, I mean, actually, while we've been talking, I was thinking, oh yeah, we can bulk record these episodes.
It's a possibility
because we're just talking about the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We could record a whole bunch at the same time, and then I can just set them up to release. Yeah. So, but then, in order to do that, I'd have to bulk watch the cartoon. So
that is if you want to bulk watch it. I'm fine with that. But are you, Dave?
Yeah, I also like the idea of just watching it in episode by episode.
Because I watched the first two, the both parters, because I didn't know if we were going to talk about just part 1 or both parts. So I went in, go ahead and just watch both parts of them.
Yes.
Which prepare for I will say next episode, prepare for your most favorite of the main 6, Pinkie Pie to sing. So
that's definitely something to look forward to. Cool.
We can always do get ready for us next episode. We talk about just have the synopsis of next episode.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, I do have the brief description of part 2. It's Nightmare Moon challenges the ponies with obstacles they must overcome to find the elements of harmony before it's too late.
Mm-hmm. They have to try their best.
So yeah, stuff definitely happens in episode 2.
Mm-hmm. There's
cool.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, thanks for spending some time today with us and our cutie marks. Go to ryanlongcomedy.com with an I for all your ryanlongcomedy.com needs. Most of the stuff on ryanlongcomedy.com is of a different tone to My Little Pony, let's say.
Yes, they are. Maybe as the series goes on, the ryanlongcomedy.com might start sinking its fangs somehow into it.
Yes. Post all your cutie marks on our Discord if you'd like to be a guest on a future show.
I just noticed it has douche talk in ryanlongcomedy.com.
Yes.
Perfect.
Special thanks for what I'm saying. No, that's optimistic, but I'll say it. Special thanks for Boomer Brony Bob for doing our theme tune.
That we hopefully will get from him.
And then I said, Oh, it's amazing. Because
Oh God.
Yep,
It's perfect.
That was wonderful.
The entire part.
But let's not beat a dead pony any further. Let's shut the stable door on this episode. Bye from Archie,
either one.
Either one. And Captain Thundertrot.
Remember, friendship is magic, y'all.
That's right. Bye.
Goodbye.
It's the Brony Boys podcast. We coming at you, Archie and Captain Thunderthought. Friendship is magic. Apple cake pie shot and the young six. Old Equestria, Wonderbolt, and the rich. All parts of the Brony Boy family, showing much love for all of the royalty. Don't sit back, Brony Boys, get up and listen. Baby PB showing y'all what you've been missing. This big adventure sounds like tons of fun. And Brony Boy podcast, faithful and strong. Share some kindness, sounds like an easy feat. This magic will make us all complete. If you wondered what friendship could be, listen up and share the magic with BBP. Yeah.